everyone. Welcome to an exciting time for GraceWorks.
Thank you for joining in the mission of GraceWorks as we celebrate 25 years of serving our neighbors in need.
Happy 25th birthday, GraceWorks, from our home to yours.
This is Doug and Margaret Buttrick coming to you from Studio 1A in New York City. I'm just kidding about that. We're really at GraceWorks in Franklin, Tennessee. But we're not kidding about our support for GraceWorks. Come join us.
Hello, it's Melissa Eads with Kroger, and it's great to be part of this virtual event supporting GraceWorks.
Hey there, Brooks McDonald with McDonald Insurance. We just want to give a big thank you for participating. We're excited to watch ourselves as we ring in a new birthday of 25 years for GraceWorks. Thank you for all you do.
Hello, I hope you're all as excited as I am about joining the big birthday match by GraceWorks. Who doesn't love a great birthday party? And thank you so much for participating.
Hello from home. I'm so excited to tune in to the big birthday match to see how many more funds we can raise for GraceWorks so they can continue helping families here in our community every day.
We're excited to be here today to celebrate GraceWorks' 25th birthday. Happy birthday, GraceWorks!
Hello everyone, Valencia Breckenridge here, CEO of GraceWorks. This is our first virtual event and it's time to party. GraceWorks is turning 25 years old. I am just so excited to think about this unique ministry, your Community Resource Center, who's been here for 25 years, serving the needs of our community. We had an interesting 25th year as we stepped into COVID and had a lot of firsts. It was our first time doing a drive-through, food pantry. It was our first time doing rent and utilities over the phone. It was our first time seeing record numbers, and it was one of a special time that we got a chance to see our community support. You guys were amazing. During this season, you rallied around us, neighbor serving neighbor. You served us so that we could serve our neighbors well. Thank you so much for your support. We have so much to celebrate in this 25th year. Thank you for tuning in to this virtual event tonight. We're so excited to share with you what God has done. And our prayer, of course, is that He will continue to make GraceWorks the premier community resource center. Tonight we have a program for you. I hope that you find it exciting. I hope that it gives you great reason to rejoice with us and to look over what God has done and to look forward to what God will do in years to come. I want to thank you in advance for the support that you've given. And of course, we're asking you to celebrate with us tonight with even more gifts. That matching gift is still on the floor. Please don't leave that unmatched. Please join us in celebrating and give what you can. Please join us and let your gift be part of the celebration. We need you. We needed you in the past 25 years. We'll need you in the future. So thank you so much for your support of GraceWorks. Thank you for being part of our ministry. Thank you for being part of the hope that we expand to our neighbors in need. And we bless you and ask that you join us in celebrating 25 years. Happy birthday, GraceWorks.
Hello, everybody. My name is Al Pramick. I'm the CEO and chairman of Gresham Smith. We're an architecture and engineering firm serving clients across the nation with great design solutions, being very responsive and respectful to the environment, and coming up with solutions that help the community vitality. We've grown now over 52 years to almost 1,000 employees, primarily in offices throughout the southeastern U.S. But more importantly for this event, we have over 80 of our employees that live right here in Williamson County. And our employees are proud to live our core values and to serve our brand tagline of genuine ingenuity. We genuinely care about our people, our clients, and the communities that we live in. So I'm proud to say Gresham Smith is the presenting sponsor for the big birthday match for GraceWorks Ministries to celebrate 25 years of service. You know, right now, as you would expect, there's more people in need than there were last year. GraceWorks has had more than twice the number of people reaching out, asking for assistance in some way. So here's your chance to even help more. We still have a few hours left. And remember, whatever you contribute, we'll be doubling that match. So thank you for your help and your contributions. I'd also like to give a special thanks to Valencia, Alicia, and the great staff, all the volunteers, the board of directors, and to you as contributors who helped throughout the year to make GraceWorks Ministries a success. So thank you.
I have always admired the foresight of our founders. How did they know 25 years ago that they were creating a ministry who would be even more relevant today? Please take a look at their heart and their thoughts and how GraceWorks came together 25 years ago.
When GraceWorks started, it was a humble beginning, but it was wonderful.
We had a very small office. It was maybe 6 by 6 with a little offshoot, which was maybe 3 feet wide, 4 feet deep.
It was in the basement of an old, what used to be a school long ago. It was on Columbia Avenue near the Carter House, and it housed the Boys and Girls Club at that point in time. You know, it was such a blessing, and I think the community needed it and knew the need for it, so they pitched in, and we just continued to grow.
At the time I went to work, the store was over on Beasley Drive. It was a 2-window storefront, very little space.
And it needed to be a universal. It didn't need to be a Methodist thing or a Baptist thing or a Catholic thing or a government thing. It needed to be a God thing.
And as we were talking about how will we fund it, he took a piece of paper and tore it up into pieces and handed everybody a piece of paper and said, write down how much you'll give. And then he collected it and sat there and totaled it up, and we had a commitment of, I think it was $47,000 from the group that was there that night.
John Gatlin was a wonderful man who came into the Boys and Girls Club down in the basement one day and saw Trish Ezell, the president of Churchwomen, and he said, I'm retiring, I'm a pilot, I'm retiring in 2 months, I want to know what I can do. And Trish said, well, we've got a clothes closet and food pantry, and John said, well, I don't do clothes. And 2 months later he came back and he said, I'm ready. And he did it for more than 12 years until he died in 2007, and the current food pantry is named after him.
The nucleus of the Christmas program for us was Christmas shouldn't hurt. She had left an abusive relationship in Kentucky. She brought her son to Franklin. They were making ends meet, but now it was Christmas, and she didn't know how she was going to provide the things of Christmas. For her to come in and have the manger be there and be able to meet that very specific need. And then we thought, well, what happens to her the rest of the year? You know, who is there for her in January and March and back to school and all the other times with whatever it is she's dealing with? So we knew we needed something in the county that could meet her need wherever she was.
One day a little girl came into the store, ran into the store, and she walked up to the cashier and handed her a piece of paper and trotted back out to the car where her mother was. And it was such a thrill to open that letter and have the lady say that her husband had gotten a job and they had been invited to a get-together for the holidays. And if it hadn't been for GraceWorks, she wouldn't have been able to have gone because she didn't feel like she had the right clothes.
I think the needs will always be the same. I think the needs will be food, shelter, clothing, a little bit of love, a little bit of caring, knowing that somebody cares how much you hurt and how much you don't have, and help provide some of each.
What the Gospels are about is compassion. And when you've got people focusing on compassion, then nothing else really matters and everybody can come together on that.
I'm so proud of everybody who pitched in and helped. I'm just proud of everyone who ever had a single hour volunteering, whether it was with the clothing or the food or interviewing clients, because they were all here because they wanted to make it better.
And it's gone far beyond anything we ever envisioned at the time.
The work that we do helps so many people that need help, food, clothes. It's just such a wonderful place to volunteer because it's so helpful to our people in Williamson County.
The name Grace Works, it's such a marvelous name. Grace Works, because grace works. The only thing that stops Grace's ability to work is our willingness to give our time, to give our resources. Grace is abundant. It's up to us.
GraceWorks has a beautiful legacy. We're so blessed to share in that. But let's take a look at GraceWorks today. GraceWorks is a faith-based community resource center. Our goal is to come alongside those who are suffering either from situational or generational poverty and to help them get over whatever barriers that they have and just trying to sustain life.
GraceWorks started 25 years ago to answer a problem. What was happening in our community was that multiple different churches and businesses and folks trying to serve our neighbors were doing it in multiple different locations. And unfortunately, those were efforts that weren't comprehensively meeting the needs for our neighbors.
Our mission statement, Neighbor Serving Neighbor, allows us to be a true community resource center. One of our functions is to be that central source where people who have a need can come and have a variety of needs met all in one place. Also, the other side of that neighbor serving neighbor equation allows those who want to serve, who want to give, who want to come alongside those in need to have a place to do that.
Pulling resources in one location really serves the neighbor to the fullest. It allows them to come, use their time in a time-sensitive manner, and to receive, put in a request for rent or utility and to receive food at the same time.
Many times, neighbors who come to us, it was a barrier to get here in the first place. They may have had to take off work or didn't have appropriate transportation, had to get a ride. So we don't want them to go one place to get their rent paid, another place to get utilities, yet another place for food, yet another place if they need clothes or any of the things our thrift store offers. We're that one place that they can stop and have a variety of really crucial and important needs met.
So GraceWorks Community Resource Center model is an incredibly efficient use of the donated dollar as well. So not only does this model allow us to pool many resources in one location, it also allows our donors to know that their dollar is being invested in a system that allows us to make really creative solutions for our neighbors in need.
We also want to equip people to actually make a difference. So we sit down and do maybe some budget planning or maybe a little life coaching where it's not just, okay, here, let's pay your bill. Let's talk about why. Why did you fall behind? How can we help you so that you can just sustain yourself on your budget in your situation? We ask them, are there things you might need to change? How can we help you change those things? And so we just don't want to be that transaction, oh, you've got a bill here, we'll pay it, okay, thank you, bye.
GraceWorks volunteers are pivotal in what we do. They outnumber us by a lot.
We have over 260 volunteers on site every single week, and we only have 35 staff members. So we really count on our volunteers to be able to keep our operations running.
We cannot meet the demand that we have as a community without them. Each grace worker or volunteer comes in specifically in this role here, and in doing that, it really fulfills the mission that we have in Neighbor Serving Neighbor.
You can give your volunteer time by helping us process in the thrift store. You can help us directly engage with neighbors in a grace worker's position, and you can help us at many other things like events or one-time opportunities where you and your family can come volunteer together.
We would not be able to run our thrift store without volunteers. There's a lot to it, from taking in at the back door as things are donated to getting things processed and priced and out on the sales floor. We need help every step of the way.
We always need more volunteers, whether you feel comfortable actually interacting with our neighbors for those one-on-one conversations, or if you want to help us sort clothes or prepare things for the thrift store. GraceWorks has a place for your skill set, and we will certainly put it to good use in serving our neighbors in need.
Everybody is a great volunteer. We have people from older folks that are retired and want to, give back and have some way to spend their time, giving back to the community. Moms that are at home, with little ones, take a minute to have a mom's day out. Anybody that is interested and willing to step in and, help GraceWorks is a valued volunteer.
Many of our donors consider us as part of their tithe. They see their giving to us as their extension of giving to God, and we are so grateful for that. We also know we represent our donors as well. And so the fact that many are faith-based, we want them to know that we are representing you and representing your faith and putting good stewardship to the dollars that you've given us. We are letting those dollars be hope for people. We are letting those dollars transform lives. It's not just a transaction. We are praying with our neighbors on behalf of our donors.
We are changing lives, and if I could bring every person in and just let them see one story, they would be able to see their impact. And so I'm forever grateful and thankful for their contributing, and it is making a difference in people's lives.
They asking me, I remember the lady, she told me, if you need something else, place to live, or another things for you and for your kids, just let me know. And I just said, well, for now I just need pay my bill. And then they help me that time, that day, and then my electricity bill they pay, and I have power back. And then after that, I said, if you want to be food, you can go pantry, and then they can give you some food and clothes and other stuff if you need it too.
GraceWorks is designed to be the hands and feet of Christ. And GraceWorks really believes that we're walking into the second greatest commandment. So the first is to love God, and the second is to love your neighbor. And GraceWorks wants and exists to love our neighbor. Of course, we want to provide them with the resources that the community gives us, that we're able to hand out and build our neighbors up. But the reason why we do it is the most important part of who we are. And that's to make sure that the neighbors that we interact with and that we relate with know that not only do we care for them, but that there's a higher power that can give them hope. And hopefully they can experience some of that hope when they come here to GraceWorks.
I was on my way to the library in my neighborhood, and I got involved in a car accident. I didn't think I was hurt, and so the police officer, I did total my car, but the police officer gave me a ride home. And I go back inside my house, and I'm just shaking. After I'd been there for maybe 10 minutes, my doorbell rang, and I went and looked through the side pane, and when I did, I saw it was a police officer, so I was kind of under the impression probably they forgot some paperwork. When I opened the door, however, it was not the same police officer. It was a different police officer serving me with divorce papers. As the day went on, and the shock from the accident and just everything that was happening started to wear off, I began to realize that I was in terrible pain. So my brother came, he's an EMT, and he came and carried me to the doctor, and they told me that my back was broken in 4 places. Because of this series of events, the marriage ended. I was not given my home. I lost my business. And as I went forward, I called some places first because, quite frankly, I didn't want to go anywhere. I was in a severe state of depression, I guess. As the time went on and I did call to find out what services might be available to help me, there weren't any because they told me I made too much money last year. There was a recommendation from someone that perhaps GraceWorks could do something to help me out. And so when I got here on that day, I was really not just physically broken, mentally and emotionally broken, just tired, didn't really expect anything good to come from it, but that's not the experience that I met here at all. Everyone were so gracious, so respectful. They treated me like it mattered and they wanted to help me. It was truly a life-changing experience. They gave me hope, and it really has changed the way that I look at things. I try desperately to help where I can, to volunteer where I can, because they made that difference for me, and I'd like to make that difference for someone else.
Thank you for your donation to GraceWorks. It makes such a difference. It's an encouragement to us as we do our work, and it also allows us to really provide generously for those in need.
Without you, there would be so many neighbors tonight that didn't know where their next meal was coming from, that wouldn't know if they would be able to stay in their house next month. But more importantly, they wouldn't know that there's someone out there that wants them to succeed, and they wouldn't know what hope feels like.
So we thank you for your support of GraceWorks and all that you do to make GraceWorks possible.
My wife and I have always been donors to GraceWorks and honored to help them. We know that every penny of every dollar that we give is well utilized.
Williamson County is our home, and we urge you all to be a blessing and help GraceWorks in their mission to help our neighbors in need.
We give to GraceWorks because we believe they generously serve our neighbors in need with grace and love, walking out the mandate of Jesus to serve those in need.
We give to GraceWorks because they help those in need, and in doing so, they also help those who are delivering the needs, because the volunteers get blessed by GraceWorks just as much as those that receive your services.
We give to GraceWorks because it makes us feel like we're a part of the community. We see, when we volunteer, we see the faces of the people who come to GraceWorks for help, and we really feel good about being able to do that.
We're involved because it's special to be involved and supported for something bigger than ourselves. We hope you'll continue to support it. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Melissa Eads with Kroger, and we support GraceWorks because we both want to end hunger.
Why do we give to GraceWorks? We give because it's an organization that's well equipped to carry out Christ's mission in the community, making sure that the underserved and God's most called on people are taken care of during tough times, especially like we're dealing with today.
I give to GraceWorks because I know it goes directly to providing assistance, support, and hope to our less fortunate neighbors right here in Williamson County.
I give to GraceWorks for the amazing work they are doing right here in Williamson County, helping the people in need every day.
My family and I give to GraceWorks because of the positive impact they have on our community. GraceWorks lives their mission. Neighbor serving neighbor by the power of God's grace.